Hello everyone, thanks for joining me for this week's episode of Let's Talk Orchids. This week we're going to talk a little bit about autumn and what you do for autumn time. Most of us know that most orchids in autumn, the growth starts to slow down a little bit. Some plants start to rest. There are some exceptions. Phalaenopsis actually start to do some really good root growth, as well as putting out their flower spikes. Sobrelias also have a tendency to start sending out their roots and doing a lot of active roots as well. This is a good time for repotting both Sobrelias and Phalaenopsis in general. Phalaenopsis you can pretty much repot any time in the year. Even if they do have some spikes, it's really not going to hurt them to repot them as long as you don't cut a lot of the roots off. So if you need any of those repotted, go ahead. As far as like dendrobiums and cattleyas, things like that, I don't even repot them after probably the end of June, so definitely no repotting there. So one of the things about being autumn here is, with orchids, is that a lot of things are starting to either bud up or bloom if they're winter bloomers. I actually have a Brassavola nodosa here. I don't know if you can see it in there. It's got a couple of nice flower buds coming up. You can see some of the dendrobiums, the hard cane types, the Dendrobium phalaenopsis and bigabone types are actually starting to set spikes out or are in spike or blooming right now. This is my Laelia rubescens. It's got these 3 good flower spikes coming out of it. This is a good plant, good bloomer. Of course, the blooming season isn't until the winter time, but these actually have long spikes, and I'm just getting ready to start sending them out. Like I said, hard cane dendrobium. This is a Dendrobium faya cross. I'll list that in a little bit. You can see here this spike is 2 spikes are completely blooming, and you can see in the back there it's got a couple more spikes that are starting to send up. Like I've said before, growing them in full sun. This is actually the later part of the day, so it's not in as much full sun as it normally gets. It gets all morning sun and all midday sun. After about 4 o'clock, it actually starts to get some shade. If it was getting even more sun than that, then it would actually be blooming more and putting up more spikes. This is Dendrobium sampram brown. It's got 3 good spikes on it, 4 good spikes on it. This plant tends to bloom maybe about 4 or 5 times a year for me. Again, it grows in full sun. It's kind of interesting because if you can see, and I'm hoping that the video will actually show the true color of the flowers. It looks like it's coming up a little bit more red, but it's kind of like a purplish color, a purplish brown. Like I said, it's called sampram brown. If it's grown in more shade, the flowers actually look brown, but when it's grown in more direct sunlight, more of the reds and the purples come through. Really good plant. A friend of mine gave me that, and I'm really glad that I got it. Another thing that you can see that's right in here is a Schomburgkia. It's just starting to set up a spike. I don't know if you can see it back there. So that's just getting the spike up. Epidendrum Schomburgkii, which is one of the cane stem epidendrums. You can see it's starting to spike up. There's another spike coming up there. Looks like I'm probably going to have 7 or 8 flower spikes on that plant this year. It put up a really good show last year, had I think about 5 or 6 spikes, so I've got a couple more coming up on it. Another plant that I have coming into bloom, you can see it up there, that's Renanthera calcium, red dragon. This is the first year that this plant has started to bloom. I actually got it at one of the shows a few years ago. This is the first time that it has bloomed. This is the 3rd time blooming this year for this plant. Rhinanthus are very good plants to have. They bloom often, just like most of the other vandas. Vandas that are crossed with this have a tendency to bloom pretty much year-round. I don't feed this as often as I should, and probably water it as much as I should. Otherwise, I'd probably get even a few more blooms per year. You will see that I do have it in a pot. A lot of people have their vandas in vanda baskets. Rhinanthus have a tendency to really like to be pot bound or in some kind of a medium. It's not a coarse medium at all. It looks it. It's mostly aliflor or hydroton, which are these clay pellets that are filled with air. And there is some sphagnum moss on the top. I do have a little bit of a mix of the sphagnum and the hydroton throughout the mix. But it just keeps growing and keeps blooming for me. I did actually cross this with a couple Phalaenopsis this year, so I'm hoping those seedlings come up. You can also see they're also really good about putting out keekees from the base. I've got 3 big keekees up there, and I'm not going to be able to zoom in quite good enough for you. There's 2 more keekees that are coming up on the other side as well. Okay, my Dendrobium mansonatum just went out of bloom. But what is coming into bloom, and I don't know if you can see the spike over here, this is Dendrobium convolutum. I will post a picture of that as well. This is an interesting dendrobium. I got this as a free gift with purchase of some Cimbralias that I got from Tropical Orchid Farm. And I have it growing in sphagnum moss, as you can see in the clear pot. This is the first spike of the season. It has a tendency to just keep blooming and blooming and blooming. I can actually see from the back over here, there's another spike coming out up there. It actually last year started blooming in December, and it bloomed all the way through June. So it actually put on a really good show for me. So this is my Vanilla Aphylla. It's a very interesting vanilla. It's one of the leafless vanillas. So it's just a whole bunch of the stems. It's really neat. There's a lot of fimbriation in the lip there with purple. It has a very light fragrance, very sweet. This is the 3rd time this year that this plant has bloomed as well. You can see all along the little flower buds that are starting to pop out. Some more flowers down here. There's some more buds in the back. And you can even see right in there, there's some more flowers. I got this one at a show, and somebody didn't know what it was. They just said it was some kind of a vanilla. They thought it was barbellata, which it's not, so I don't even know where they got it from. But it's growing really wild. The way I pot up my vanillas is I have a plastic pot with sphagnum moss, and in the center of that you can see the tree fern totem that I put in there. That allows the vanilla to just cling on with the roots and just allow it to keep going. Another nice thing about the fall is some the Catasetum Alliance is getting ready to bloom. You can see here my Cycnoches. I've actually got 2 of them. It's 2 of the same. It's Cycnoches Wurzowixii. Got a very nice fragrant. Post a picture of that as well. These are actually smaller plants. The main plant actually started getting eaten by a grasshopper, so I actually took the plant and cut it up and started some new growths out of it. Didn't think that they were actually going to bloom this year, but the plant surprised me, and like I said, I got 2 of them there. They're both getting ready to bloom. You can see in the back, in the shadier area that I have in my growing section, some of my Phalaenopsis are getting ready to bloom. I don't grow a lot of Phalaenopsis. I know some people really like them because the flowers last. I do have a few to enjoy. This year they're actually spiking pretty early. You can see a spike back here off of that one. There's a spike here and a spike here. I will imagine that these are just because we did have a cool night a couple months ago, and that initiated the spiking. Once we actually get some more cool weather, the end of November, beginning of December, or the end of December, I will imagine that they'll probably send up a lot more spikes. Usually these things send up 3-4 spikes per year. These are just one. I'm imagining, like I said, we just had a night of cool weather, so it initiated a little bit of a spike. I also wanted to show you, I've got a Sobralia fragrance here. It's about the time of the year for them to start blooming. There's a flower spike coming up here, and you can see another one back here. Neat thing with this Sobralia, a lot of people think Sobralias are these really huge plants. Sobralia fragrans is actually a smaller growing Sobralia. Would fit comfortably in a window. Its flowers are small, still only last a day. This one's very fragrant. Nice little white flower, but very good if you don't have a lot of space and you want to try some Sobralias. I also have another Sobralia up top here. This is Sobralia elegans. Looks very similar to fragrans, blooms at a different time of the year. The flowers are just a little bit. So thanks for watching today. If you have any questions, feel free to write down below, or you can also join the Let's Talk Orchids group on Facebook. Send me some questions there. I'd love to do some Q&As on the videos for you guys so that you can watch and have some replies. Maybe I can show you some of the things you have questions too. You can also click on one of the links below if you would like to help out with the making of the videos. You can make a donation or sponsor a video. So hope you had a good day. Hope to see you next week, and love to hear from you.